So good morning everyone. We are in the group 5 and we are the last reporter, and our topic for today is all about the proponents of the special education. So before anything else, I'm Christopher Magas. And for our motivation this day, everyone, please listen and for the instructions.
So our motivation for today is resolve.
So basically, atong motivation for karon kay by table is each table mata ko riddle ninyo. And ang answer sa kanang riddle kay ang first letter mo na yung common. So basically nang riddle masulod ang kuha nang makuha isa ka letter. Ang kanang letter by kung kanang according to the number mo na siya ang kuha i-kuha ninyo ilaray ninyo, and kung sa mga word mo to siya ang overall na word. So for the first table, for the first letter, it is a disability in which a sideway curvature of the spine. A sideway curvature of the spine. Na-discuss na niya ang ubanan niya sa previous na reporters. So, hindi mo ito yung right. My first one, is yung type of disability that affects physical aspects. Type of disability that affects physical aspects. Next, one of the most important needs of a child. One of the most important needs of a child. Ay, isa. Ang mga letters ani gato ni sagot na. Next, any illness or condition of the body or mind that makes it difficult to accomplish tasks. Again, any illness or condition of the body or mind that makes it difficult to accomplish tasks. So, one din na kay more synonym. So, bali, ang word na to, kay upat siya ka letters ha. I'll give you 3 to 4 minutes. What's the answer?
Pwede, pasabot mo sa forward.
4 letters.
Ay, 4 letters.
Or letter
Bali, ang answer ninyo, ang first, ang initial letter, mo na siya. Dito na to sa... Bali, mag-create tayo sa word out sa first letter sa answer. Pero kung dili siya makuha ninyo kahit one, ato na ninyo sa Again, for the first table, a sideway curvature of the spine. For the second table, type of disability that affects the physical aspects. Third, one of the most important needs of a child. Fourth, any illness or condition of the body or mind that makes it difficult to accomplish tasks. Ang word. Sige, come on now, Sam. Ha?
Education.
Correct. Inyong sa inyo. Sakto, scoliosis. So, nanatay S, nanatay E. Sa inyo. Okay, so nanatay P. SPE, inyong sa inyo.
Further disability.
Sakto, disability. So, ang word guy? Very, very.
So we will proceed to our topic, which is the proponents of special education. So we have a lesson objectives, so the students will be able to know how at the end of the discussion, the lessons will be able to know about the history of special education and its components. Second, to understand the importance of special education to the students with special needs. And lastly, to apply their learnings in the field of education in the future. So I will be the one to discuss about the history of education, specifically on the 18th century. So the history of education begins with the 18th century, but before that, the persons with disabilities are seen as they are cursed individuals or cursed by the evil spirits, and they are seen as stupid. So, with the beginning of the 18th centuries, the ideas about education started expected to arise in the Enlightenment period. So we have here the proponents of the 18th century who shared their ideas about the education. We have Jean-Jacques Rousseau. So Jean-Jacques Rousseau published a book about the education of children. So the title of his book was A Mile, and then the book has four credits siya ka book like lain siya it is siya four versions book 1, book 2, book 3, o book 4 o series. And then sa kanang book is nakasulod nila on how to handle children or how to educate the children. So sa ihang book is nagtao siya that the children should be learned according to their pace. So dili it is effective daw if ang children is makakatong sila according to their pace. Dili ka na usap yan sila o ma-learn ni anak. So second, we have Charles Michel Dickite. So Charles Michel Dickite was considered as a father of the deaf. So he was the one of the pioneers in the 18th century who was nagkuhan ka rin sila sa mga disabled person na especially ang mga deaf people. So although he founded the first public school for people with disabilities in France in 1760. So Charles Michel Dickite said Charles Michel Dickite said was demonstrated na if deaf people daw is maka-communicate na sila through gestures, hand gestures, finger, and ana sa mga parehan na to o body language. So, believe siya na deaf people is dili gali basta sila communication dili sila mga speaker or dili sila mga demod maka-communicate ako sila through hand gestures. So, kana nga method ni Lite, nibong na siya sa development sa international deaf education and nagkakagod siya o public demonstration lessons sa mga tao na dili gani deaf para makatupod sila o mga institutions for the deaf people. And third, we have Valentin Hawe. Valentin Hawe was considered as the father and the apostle of the blind. So, Valentin Hawe founded the National Institution for the Blind Youth in 1784 in Paris. So, first of all, nakarealize siya din si Valentin Hawe na magtayo siya of school because naluwi ka siya sa mga blind people na nakita sila sa clinic baka wala kita mo sa niya agi-agian ka sa mga tao sa mga auto ay para makakuan daw makakagan daw tolerable and sense of usefulness ng mga blind people nakatayo siya of school and then siya ang one na teacher anak ng school and then actually si kairang ni Louis system. Actually, si Louis Brown kay graduate na siya sa Institute of National Youth for Blind School. Teacher niya si Valentin Hawe. Si Louis Brown po is pag-graduate niya sa anang institution is kahilap siya teacher sa mga blind. And then we have Jean-Marc Gaspard Icard. So, si Jean-Marc was considered as the father of special education because he concerned with different methods in order to educate disabled children. So, si Jean-Marc Gaspard Icard ay nakita siya well boy sa days and all life. Boy na. Of course, wala siya alaman sa education or iharap niyo ba kay wildlife rap. So, auto ay si Jean-Marc, i-train niya kung ikuha niya kung boy karamitan niya and then i-train niya for 5 years. However, wala i-improve ang boy kanang ay mo to gihatag na gibalik sila sa iyang way of life. And then nga naman na consider hapon siya special father of special education na wala man ni kanang gana iyang method. So kato nga paagi niya is kanang nakatabang ni hapon to para kanina ba niya century kay wala kay kita halagahan ang mga disabled person o mga person with special education needs. Kasi Jean Mark Gaspard kay nakita ka siya way na makatawang sa mga tao bisan o karang dili karang wala kay successful like mao to ang beginning dahil sa pag-care sa special education. O gibalyo niya ang mga persons with disabilities. Mao to father of special Okay, so now let's see the 19th century. So on the 19th century, special education became more popular with the efforts from people such as Reverend Thomas Holiday and several have taken action in the matter of special education. So Thomas often Holiday was an educational philanthropist and American educator and founder of the first American school for the deaf, while Samuel Literally Howe as an American physician, educator, and abolitionist, as well as the founding director of the New England Institution of Education for the Blind. And below here, also in the following slides, we have a timeline, as you can see, on how these two proponents made influence on the special education during the 19th century. So in 1817, only Reverend Thomas Holiday implemented the first school for the deaf and as well as that earlier, si Thomas mo ang first founder or founder for the first American school for the deaf. Next slide. So here in 1829, Samuel Literally Howe founded the first school for blind children in the United States. So most of the meaning na si Samuel was the founding director of the institution of education for the blind. And then, one year upon 1848, si Howard was the founder of the Massachusetts School for Idiotic and Feeble-Minded Children in England. So following the example of the school proponents, other states were also influenced and opened several institutions that aims to educate the disabled. So, mga year na 1851, a school for disabled children opened in Academy, and also in 1850, that the new national school from feeble-minded children. So, with the special education becoming more important throughout the years, of course, the development of rapid development of the special education program also. So, changes were addressed in such concerns in the law and implementing special education schools. That's why in 1890, it was now the state's responsibility to provide institutions for special children. And lastly, in 1897, the Department of Special Education was created by the National Education Council. So much more than 1960, that is received with the 20th century. But in century, was characterized by the implementations of laws that assures people with disabilities to have the rights to a direct education. So we start off in 1908, the French insertion of the Quebec along with universal for those who don't know intelligence skill as they standardize and releases. Burnett and Simon created this as an order to identify mentally retarded children, but then later on, the test was adopted or applied to the standard which is why in 1960 the idea of intelligence quotient was introduced for the government. So the test was renamed from Burnett and Simon scale to Stanford scale. So continuing the rates of implementation in 1960, all the states are recognizing that all children have the right to education, which is why, next slide, 1922, the Council for Exceptional Children, or CTC, founded by so this council plays an important role because it provides several laws that many governmental areas. Well, now, to start off, in 1958, sorry, 1950, the National Association for Retarded Children of NARC was founded by the parents of children with disabilities. So this association incubated the idea of public law 94 to 149 by asking that every mental retarded children has a right to education and equal terms, and that's such for depending on each person's needs. And to start off in 1958, President A.C. Howard signed public law 85296, in which it provides grants for colleges and universities to make sure that courses be offered to prepare teachers for special education. So that will be all for my report.
So to begin with, if we take the before if we take into account, children were denied because they are considered as exceptional. Not in terms of how good they are, but in terms of how they think they are considered exceptional because they are mentally retarded, emotionally disturbed, physically handicapped, hyperactive, and other children with behavioral problems. So in the 1960s, these are the documents or acts that supported the movement of special education. First, we have the 1965 Elementary and Secondary Education Act was passed. So this act aims to provide funds for schools to promote, in order to have a proper environment for children with disabilities. And in 1966, Education of Handicaps Act, kaya po siya mag-grant of funds sa schools, pero hindi na siya sa students, but for teachers na po siya. But ang kaning duha, kaya required din siya o ng silbi permission sa permission sa Bureau of Education for the Handicap in the Office of Education. So kani siyang Bureau of Education for the Handicap in the Office of Education, mo na siya ang original term ato. But karon giusan ko siya ang gitawag ni OSEP, which meaning sa OSEP kay the Office of Special Education Programs. And kanang OSEP or ang kanil under na siya sa US Department of Education. Then ang aim na kay mag-provide leadership and support for professionals working with children with disabilities. In the early 70s, wali siya ang kanang arousal sa kanang mga basta na mga cases nga against sa improvement sa special education. Nagana siya actually mga 38 at ano siya, but ang major lang ay pa. First, we have the case of Pennsylvania Association for Retarded Children with Commonwealth of Pennsylvania 1921. Second, in 1970, the case of Mills versus District of Columbia Board of Education. Ang talagang tao. So first, kay Pennsylvania Association for Retarded Children versus Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So ano siya kay was a case where the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania was sued by the Pennsylvania Association for Retarded Children or the PRC. Now the Arc of Pennsylvania overruled at the public schools the authority to deny a free education to children who have reached the age of 8, yet had not reached the mental age of 5. So kani siyang ARC, o kaning ba ARC, ay kuwan siya. Usa ni siya organization sa US na nag-serve sa people with disabilities and developmental disabilities. And kani kung sa kanina kuwan, sa kanina case kay ang point ani is once kana imong edad mabot ng 8 kay mo na una kay wala pa kala kung kana pang 5 na mo na una kay dili ka angay tagaan og education, which is kana hindi ko kanadi siya sa kaning Pennsylvania kay Marcy kay dili sila mosugot niya nga pamaagi kay ang ilahang paansa na kato sa una kay basta mentally retarded ka kay automatic na rin kay problema sa iyong kauna-una. Next week. Second kay Mills versus the Columbia Board of Education. The fourth rule that students will also believe in a public education, even if the students are unable to pay for the cost of the education. The case established that all children are entitled to free public education and training for way to their capacity. Under Ani, kay katong mga students with disabilities kay bisag dili sila kabayad sa ilang kuan kay i-consider dapat sila as kanang libre na lang or free. Next week. Ay, wala sila eh. So, katong first case, ang ipaglaban na ito niya kay Juan, the right of children with disabilities to free and appropriate public education. And ang second ay serve to reinforce ideas of values. So, both cases, though required that children and their families have the right to procedural due process when it comes to protecting the rights of those with disabilities. So, after dahil na yung dual case, major dahil na dahil 36 sa cases ang follow. Next. So the idea to protect child with disabilities who and to guarantee education for some were becoming overwhelming and it was coming time to put all those small accounts into effective one law. Ang kaning kato na yung isama ko tanan, yung mga tawag ko public law. 1994, nagpapasa na yung word. So this law guarantees that people with disabilities have the right to free and appropriate public education in a least restrictive environment. Also, it requires that each individual has his or her own educational plan or IEP. And that all people with disabilities have the right to fair process. So basically, ang aim na yung public law ay equality in all agencies. Next week. So kaning public law was revised in 1990 and sa kaning pagkata in 1994 kay di ba revised niya so nahimo na siya ang idea. Next. So ang idea kay the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act sa law that makes available a free appropriate public education to eligible children with disabilities throughout the nation and ensures special education and related services to those children. And the revised back in 1997. So in 1990 po the American with Disabilities Act was passed, guaranteeing that implementation will be made to people with disabilities in the work environment as well as public transportation and community. So ang aim at mga public law ay under man siya yung American with Disabilities, under man siya atong public law, itong idea. Ang dili na tayo focus ato niya kay wala siya mag-focus sa education kay dili naman sa education na ay kanang form of discrimination when it comes to disabilities. Happy na po niya sa work environment, public transportation, and others. Wala po din, next one. So, before I end, education sa height na privilege na ito. Dapat ito tayo kami.
Okay, so with all that said and done, so now let's move on to the timeline for the history. Timeline of the history of special education here in the Philippines. So of course, during the 1902 or the American regime, General Superintendent of Education, Mr. Fred Atkinson, found a census of deaf and blind school-age children in Manila and reported it to the Secretary of Instruction. So kasi si Mr. Fred Atkinson, yung Amerikano niya during sa regime. And more sa seven head sa education at that time, so most of the hinihina na ang concern is towards the mga light disabilities. So in 1907, special education program formally started. So this is where the torch light was lighted for those with disabilities. Next. So in 1926, the Philippine Association for the Deaf, or PAD, composed mostly of hearing impaired members and special education was founded. In 1927, the Welfare Children's Village in Mandaluyong was established by the government. So for those who don't know, the Welfare Children's Village is a mental retardation rehabilitation center where students with mental retardation are taught informally or formally. Next. So in 1936, Miss Maria Villa Francisco was appointed as the first Filipino principal of the School for the Deaf and the Blind. And in 1945, the National Orthopedic Hospital opened its school for crippling children, or NOHSCC, or young patients who had to be hospitalized for long periods of time. So the National Orthopedic Hospital is not a congregation, but this is where you can see all of these have a problem with their orthopedic related problems. So those who have difficulty with their spines, with the back, with the muscles. So because they need long-term treatment, the hospital decided to give them the education they need within the perimeter of their hospital. Next, 1949, inauguration of the Quezon City Science High School for gifted students. The Philippine Foundation for the Rehabilitation of the Disabled, or PFRD, was organized. In 1950, Philippine Association for the Deaf opened a school for children with hearing impairment. No, don't get this wrong. During the very first in 1902, during the American regime, it was just stated that the general found students did not actually create a system for these deaf children. Next, in 1953, L.C. Gash's village was established in Alabang, Muntinlupa, Rizal, to take care of abandoned and orphan children and youth with physical and mental handicaps. So as one we can see here throughout time, throughout the years, they have decided to slowly become open to these disabilities, to these children with all disabilities. Next, in 1954, the first week of August was declared as Sight Saving Week. So this Sight Saving Week was inaugurated by our very own Ramon Magsaysay during the 1954 and through the proclamation number 40. Next. In 1955, the private sector supported the government program for disabled Filipinos. ELF's Cerebral Palsy Project Incorporated was organized by the members of Lodge number 761 of the Benevolent and Protective Order. Note, this organization is a non-government organization, meaning they held hands together, created funds, and gathered funds in order to help those people, or kids, or students, specifically with cerebral palsy, in order to give them formal and informal education. Next, in 1956, the first Summer Institute on Teaching the Deaf was held at the School for the Deaf and the Blind in Pasay City. So again, throughout the years, they have finally created more systems, more organizations. Even those who are not part of the government has taken the initiative to actually address the needs of these poor little children. In 1957, the Bureau of Public Schools of the DPS, the Department of Education and Culture, created the Special Education section of the Special Subjects and Services Division. So basically, they created these components of special education. So somehow we can see that it is now systematized. And so here are the components. First is legislation. Next, teacher training. Next, census of exceptional children of youth in schools and community. Next. The integration of children with disabilities in regular classes. If you remember what Supervisor said, there was a time where the students with disabilities are now included in the normal or the regular classes. So rehabilitation or residential and special schools and materials production. So now they have taken into account what are the needs of these students, what are the materials that are beneficial or advantages to these students with disabilities. So it is like a personalized system for these type of students. So the Baguio Vocational Normal School ran courses on teaching students with handicaps, and the Baguio City Special Education Center was organized. Before I give you into the next reporter, you can always see that all of these slowly through time, the eyes of these officials, the eyes of the people, and especially their hearts will open to those who are in dire need of their help.
1958, the American Foundation for Overseas Blind, or AMOB, Regional Office in Manila. So its main goal is to provide information, research, and advocacy for better policies that promote accessibility and ensure equality and opportunity for people who are blind and visually impaired. So, see, Kurt Adams is the first president of this association since May 2016. Next. 1960, some private colleges and universities started to offer special education courses in the graduate school curriculum. Next. 1962, the Manila Youth Rehabilitation Center was opened. So also known as the Manila Youth Reception Center, a temporary detention center for children in conflict with the law, and constructed in 1962 as a project of the Juvenile Control Bureau. In that same year also, the Department of Education and Culture issued circular number 11 series of 1962 that specifies the qualifications for the special education teachers. Also, the Philippine General Hospital opened classes for its school-age chronically ill patients. 1964. The Quezon City Schools Division followed suit with the establishment of Quezon City Science High School for the gifted students. 1965 marked the start of the training program for school administrators of the organization, administration and supervision of special education classes. Next slide. 1967, the BPS, or the Bureau of Public School, organized the National Committee of Special Education. So the National Committee of Special Education is authorized to identify students in need of services by determining eligibility and developing an individualized educational plan or IEP, placing the students in the least restrictive environment in which they can succeed and provide appropriate services to meet their needs. So, since we're running out of time, so we go to